Hey everyone, it's Erin Melton. So excited to have you today, and very excited about who we have on today. A little break from normal, but I had the great privilege of being connected with Scott Harris through a longtime friend, Lauren. Big shout out to you, Lauren, and also through GoGo. Scott, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Erin, thanks for having me. It's fun. I hope I'm a break from the normal.
A good. The normal is great, but it's always fun to change it up a little bit. Yeah.
Great. Well, excited to be here and to chat about all things real estate and beyond.
Very much, very much. So Scott, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into real estate.
Sure. I've been in real estate for close to 20 years, but before I was in residential real estate, I guess I could say I grew up in a real estate family. My father, I grew up in New Orleans, and my father was in commercial real estate. So he, not as a broker, but as a landlord. And so we'd sit around the kitchen table and talk about tenants. And his family had it was all warehouses. And so this was like
Okay.
a wholesale hardware business way back when, before Home Depot and everything else. And so it sort of morphed, and he became more engaged in the real estate than in the hardware, which happens to most businesses that own their real estate, became real estate people at some point. And so I grew up in New Orleans with beautiful architecture. My very best friend in the world grew up in the French Quarter. And so that stuff just sort of seeps into your bones. And as I went to college and beyond, I did a complete left turn into music. And while I was performing and touring and doing all that, I also became really engaged in the business side of it, which was booking bands, producing concerts, putting people on the road, putting my own band on the road, and all the intricacies that went into that. And so it was a number of years kind of performing and wearing two hats. And when I sort of came out of most of my 20s, I was in Boston at the time, and I said, I'm ready for the big leagues. I always was visiting New York and decided that I wanted to make a move to New York. That was like the big leap. New York spoke to me. I have friends who live all over, and they come into New York and they're like, Scott, I just don't understand how you can do this. And it just energizes me to be around the people like that. So I got into real estate at the recommendation of someone who knew that I was a really good salesperson. It was always people. It was always about people. And they knew I loved architecture. I wanted to be an architect when I was in fourth grade. I mean, I really loved just the idea, being able to, just something about buildings and rooms and layouts and old things and new things and how everything played together. And so when I started taking like a real estate license, the class, I started in January of 2003, and it was like duck to water. I found my thing.
Yeah.
It felt natural. It made sense. It spoke to all the different little things inside of me where I could meet people, be super curious about what they were about, and also over time get involved in the sales side of things, because I started doing rentals. We can talk about that if you want, but once I got into the sales, it really it just went to the level that made the most sense.
That's great. What would you say is your why?
I work with a business coach on an ongoing basis. And I think I would recommend anybody who happens to be, a real estate agent. If you were an athlete training for the Olympics,
what do?
You have a coach.
Yeah.
If you're, and so I'm one of the 8 million crazy people who live in New York, and I've got my own, bananas issues that I'm dealing with all the time. And so, my coach and I talk a lot about this. It's, if you don't really sit and think about what drives you, what wakes you up in the morning, then you're just, it's kind of like that Yogi Berra thing. Like if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. I don't know if that's Yogi Berra, but
I don't know what it is. I know what you're talking about though. Yeah.
But so for me, it's that I love people. I love helping people find their home and helping them discover what home means to them. Yes. Some people are more clear about it But for me, it's getting to know the person and getting to listen to what they say and what they don't say, and then being able to find a space that helps them. A home, if you do it right, it's the most tangible representation of who you are.
Yes.
And in New York, it's not always possible to find a home that you can grow into for a dozen years, but maybe it's a home that you can grow into for the next 5 years.
I gotcha.
And so really for me, it's helping people, it helps people express who they are and have a home that supports them. And that really, it really comes down to helping people first.
Yes.
Putting the real estate's like the vehicle. If I
Exactly.
didn't have real estate to sell, I would find some other way to help
Yes.
people.
Yes.
I'm constantly meeting people and I'm like, oh, let me match you to you, and just making connections. And it just sort of happens like, oh, you should talk to so-and-so. That's like my secret sauce.
Yeah.
That's the value add that goes way past the real estate. But certainly what gets me up in the morning and what makes me happy is when I'm able to elevate someone's experience by helping them.
Yes.
And
That's a real good why, and that will take you far, obviously. Talk to everyone about what it truly takes to be a successful agent in a luxury market.
well, the most important thing, and one thing that I probably forget, a little bit every day, but something that I think is the most important to keep in mind, and I think what does keep you, what has been definitely a key to success, is knowing that it's not about your competition. That competition is only in your head. I lost, I don't know, 2 or 3 pitches yesterday. I don't win everything that I don't hit all the balls that I swing at, and for any number of reasons.
Right.
But if you really believe you're going to become the best version of yourself, you're going to go out and win business. I think that mindset,
Yes.
and having a mindset of you're gonna do a great job. You're really living into who you have a feeling of what you're becoming on a daily, on a weekly, and beyond, on that kind of a basis. You're gonna be better at this. And the distinction that we as a team we talk about, I've talked about it recently. Some real estate training programs will say, okay, fake it till you make it, right? And there's a negative association to that.
Yes.
Right. The other way to put it, and the way that I talk about it with my team, is you're acting as if you were already the number one broker in New York, or the number one team in New York. And coming from that place of like, okay, we're the number one team in New York. What would we do right now if we were the number one team in New York? Well, we would make these calls. We would call, all these brokers to learn information that we don't know yet. Whatever the situation calls for, asking great questions, certainly puts you in a position to come up with good answers. So in terms of keys to success, one is I know that whatever is in front of me, I can figure out a solution. I have that kind of confidence that I'm going to be resourceful. I wake up every morning excited to go do what I do because I love it. It's fun. And I know I add way more value than I get back, and when I add a lot of value, it sort of shows up as success in lots of different ways.
Yes. That's an excellent way of putting it. What would your adolescent self not recognize about Scott today?
I was telling the team the other day that as successful as we are, there are meetings I go into when I'm not 100% confident of it. I would say that I'm older. I've got more gray hair. Who is this gray-haired guy that the salt and pepper guy? I certainly think my adolescent self would kind of laugh at me, because I did theater in high school and middle school, and I remember having to put baby powder in my hair. and like to make it look like this.
Right. You're like,
And
huh,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh yeah, so that's one thing physically, but in terms of attitude, I'm the same curious person that I always have been.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that I'm probably kinder to myself
Mm-hmm.
than I was. I realized that being, beating yourself up is not a recipe for happiness. It certainly will get you to a certain level of success. There's a drive, there's like a push energy that gets you to a certain level, but at some point you have to embrace, there's another layer that works a lot better, big picture, if you're going to enjoy this.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that being a little kinder to my adolescent self would have said, geez, you're a happier guy than I probably was, like
Okay.
way back then.
Okay. That makes sense for sure. I know you already mentioned about, being an athlete, you have a coach. What are you doing? What book, coach, mentor, or maybe life event do you think has had the greatest effect on your life?
And there's so many.
I know. You can name a couple if you'd like, but if
Yeah.
there's any that really stand out to you.
I was in high school. I just went to Canton, Ohio for the Hall of Fame
Mhm.
induction ceremonies. I played high school football, and
Mhm.
I was all heart. Like I was like the least. I would say I was like the least. Oh, not the least, but I was not like the most naturally gifted athlete. It was all like in the gym, working out, and everything else. And I ended up being one of the co-captains of the team. And we played at this little private school in New Orleans, and it's just my classmate was this kid, Cooper Manning. And I was like there all the way kindergarten through. And his little brother, this kid, Peyton Manning, was a sophomore when we were
Wow.
seniors. We ended up being really, really good. My senior year, Peyton was a sophomore. We had terrific success. We got very close to to winning the state championship. We got to the semifinals, and it was to me like a watershed where you realized, okay, I can be a leader because I was really like the cheerleader. I mean, that's really,
Mhm.
and I'm still a cheerleader. Like, that's always been
Mhm.
something where I'm just excited. I want to get people, I'm passionate about anything I'm taking on, and I want to get everybody around me excited about it too. So
Mhm.
that season of football as a senior, as a 17-year-old kid, really propelled me. I realized, that I can be a winner. I can work really hard and have success, that I can be a leader. And it gave me so much confidence to take on all of these other things that I have done in my life. And there've been plenty of, I try to stay out of my comfort zone all the time,
Mhm.
but, doing interviews like this that are, like putting it all out there, and we'll see what I have to say. I don't know what I'm going to say until I say it most of the
Yeah,
time. Um, I would say that was a huge um, thing. And in terms of mentors, I've always searched out mentors. I've always searched, whether it's a high school football coach or kind of big brother figures,
Mhm.
as I've performed through the years, or business coaches. But there's been a lot of moments that have been really powerful. Um, and a lot of them are like, the lesson is you've got to ask for it, you've got to try, you've got to fail, um, and get back up and keep at it. I think those kinds of lessons have been
Mhm.
really powerful for me.
Definitely. You've had a lot of success up to this point in your career. What would you say is the most important thing to you at this stage in your life or in your career?
Well, on one hand, it's not just, I appreciate you saying that we've been successful. We're really, really happy at what we've been able to do. I would say
Mhm.
what's important now is reminding, staying focused, staying present to what we've been able to do,
Yes.
as opposed to that part of me that wants to forget, oh, you had all this success, and like, kind of that part of you that thinks, oh, I can't do it. So I think staying present to what we've been able to do, and what we've learned and all of
Mm-hmm.
the access all the experience that we've been able to build on. So I think for me now, it's like enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I enjoy it, the more I can build the team underneath me, train them, become a more open-hearted
Mm-hmm.
manager of the team. That's really important to me, to be really clear on what it is where I can add value to every situation.
Yes.
Um, being a better listener, that's really important to me.
Mm-hmm.
There have been times when I've been a wonderful listener, and then there are times when I interrupt too much and I kind of jump to conclusions and, et cetera, et cetera. So I
Mm-hmm.
would say what's really important to me is growing the team, keeping the communication level really high, empowering the people that work for me. And I think if I do all those things and stay connected to, what's keeping me on the right road, the success shows up,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, I don't have to worry about that part. I need to call myself out when I hold myself to account as much as possible, make sure that I'm doing, if I'm asking somebody else to do something, that
Mm-hmm.
I do it myself, being on
Exactly.
time for meetings. And if I'm going to be late, calling myself out on it, staying positive, that's a choice, by the way.
It's a hard choice sometimes, but it absolutely is a choice.
It's a
Yes.
choice. And really surrounding myself with excellent people,
Mm-hmm.
um, clients too. We have a choice to
Yes.
say no to clients that are
Mm-hmm.
energy vampires or whatever,
Yes.
you want to, it's
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a world. And by the way, also being compassionate to people.
Yes.
In New York, Aaron, I don't know if this is true. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Um, when I get introduced to people, referrals
Mm-hmm.
for who are clients, buyers or sellers,
Mm-hmm.
almost every time the person referring me says, "I just want to let you know this person is crazy."
Oh.
And I don't like I don't know if that happens everywhere else, but it seems like it happens all the time. They're like, "I just want to warn you," and
Mm-hmm.
they're friends. They're like, "This person,"
Exactly.
and I mean, I've got to think if people introduce me like Scott is great, he's a little crazy.
I do get that.
Is that what happens elsewhere, or is
It
that?
does. It does happen. There are certain ones, certain people, and they'll kind of preface it with, they are great people. They are great people. I just want you to know, um, this is going to take a little bit more time. They need someone to listen. Maybe that's more the Southern thing, like you got to be able to listen. They need someone that can really just help them along the way. But I get that. I do hear they're completely crazy every once in a while. I'm like, okay, and you kind of put a little note in you and go, all right.
It's funny. I've my experience with most of my clients, even the people that are like, wow, that person's really hard, like they're tough or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
I've always felt like, no, they're actually great. Like they show up to me
Mm-hmm.
as the, wonderful people, and we're we're rowing in the same direction,
Yes.
and we get there. And I think it's like you're really trying to meet them where they are
Mm-hmm.
and listen to them. And when they
Mm-hmm.
feel heard, then that person
Yes.
warms up, and they,
Yes.
their defenses come down. And
Yes.
then, of course, during the course of which is such a this is such a stressful thing for
Mm-hmm.
people to go through. Inevitably, they'll call you freaking out. And
Mm-hmm.
however, freaking out shows up for certain people. Like they might
Mm-hmm.
yell at you, they might get really quiet. They may
Mm-hmm.
just start throwing up roadblocks.
Yes.
Getting people out of their own way is
Mm-hmm.
huge, a
It is a
huge
huge part.
part of the work.
Yes.
I was a psych minor in college, and I use it every day. I'm like the armchair psychologist, just really trying to say, okay, maybe it's more intuition at this point, but like, how do we help bring the temperature down? And
Right.
you have to be the captain
Mm-hmm.
in the storm. And
Mm-hmm.
there's always a storm, right? It's just, I mean, I'm not saying you have to create drama. It's just,
No.
it's a stressful, it brings up everybody's demons. Everybody's issues show up to the
Yes.
closing before you even get to the closing table.
Exactly. And it's just that honing everyone in, keeping everyone focused on the mission, but you can't put it that way. You need to make sure and you course correct along the way, and you get to know these people well enough that you can tell what they're saying to you isn't really what's going on, and where sometimes they want that instantaneous like text or answer back, where it's like, hey, when's a good time we can talk this afternoon? And you need to kind of step things back and be there truly going, what's up?
Right. And everybody, that shows up in different ways. We had
Yes.
a client who signed a contract to buy a very big apartment on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And this all the contract signing part happened before the building was completed. So, you sign the contract and then you kind of wait for the construction to get done.
Right.
And in the midst of that, COVID happened. So we're like in quarantine and the market is here. It was like the one place in America where prices came down, where the market really fell. Almost everywhere else, prices are up.
Yeah.
And so they called me and they're like, last summer, I took an RV trip, which is not something a typical New Yorker does, but we loaded up the RV and went on a long trip to see my family because we didn't want to fly and et cetera, et cetera. And in the midst of driving down the road, I think I was in West Virginia or something, and I get a call from this client like, Scott, we want to get out of this deal.
No.
And I'm like, okay, I didn't freak out. I'm like, let's have some phone calls. We'll talk about it. And then, fast forward more than a year later, they closed because they just needed to like feel heard and they needed to get their concerns addressed. And when it was all done, they're like, we couldn't have done this without you. You were so patient with us. You just listened. You kind of like, if you were, fishing, like you just let us run it. We just let the line go out as far as it needed to go. And then
that's a good way.
Kind of reel them back a little bit. So that's the, I guess that's another way to answer kind of how do you become successful doing this? Like you can't always take everybody's freak out at face value.
No. Oh, that's great. Scott, this has been awesome. I could tell by the two people that said you have got to call him that this was going to be a great talk, and you did not disappoint. And I just thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Erin. It's been great talking to you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone.